Welcome to the Sports Card Lessons podcast with me, your host, Ken. I'm a retired teacher documenting my hobby journey here on the pod, finding teachable moments to share with all of you along the way. Don't forget to hit me up on social media on Instagram at sportscard_lessons. Hit that follow button. And you can also find me on YouTube by searching Sports Card Lessons. If you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. Welcome, everybody. Day 2 of National. It is just before 8 p.m. I just got back to the room. I did not go to trade night. I came straight from the show here because I just exhausted, completely exhausted from last night, getting up, starting first thing again this morning, and today was just unbelievable. It was massive. I keep using the word massive, but the people, it's like if you go to a concert and when the concert gets out and it's a time to leave, that's the amount of people that are moving around inside this massive room with all these tables and just nonstop. I've talked to all the other dealers, and all they said was, I didn't stop to go to the bathroom. I didn't stop to eat. I didn't stop to take a drink. And that's kind of how I was yesterday. And it wasn't so busy. But today I was like, I am pacing myself. And while I was talking to people, I said, hold on just a minute. And I got my sandwich out, and I got, an orange or some fruit, and was, pulling some water. Like I was hydrating, I was eating, and finding time, a couple times just to somebody say, hey, just wash my table, a few minutes. I just need to run to the bathroom or whatever, just to get away for a couple minutes. But I could see everybody in the morning were saying, oh, trade night tonight, it's down the hall, it's blah, blah, blah. And at 5:45, people are looking around and they're looking beat up. And they're like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make trade night. I really don't. And I thought, you know what, maybe I'll just pop over there for a little while just to see how it is and check it out. And when I came out of the convention center, because you come out of the convention center, go down the hall, and then there's another ballroom down there. That's where the trade night was. There was just such a mass of people waiting in line, to get in there. And I was like, I just can't go through this again. I mean, I just imagine what that room looked like when they opened those doors. So I came back to the hotel. I wanted to, I listened to last night, and it wasn't as bad as I thought, because I was so exhausted last night. I said, I didn't even know. I didn't even re-listen to it, because as soon as I was done, I just put it up. I said, I'm putting it up, and it is what it is. And I'm not going to say I script these, but I create bullet points that I throw on the screen here, and as I'm going through, I want to make sure I remember everything to say. I haven't been doing that here. This is just completely, off the cuff. I'm just from actual experience. I'm just coming into the room and telling you what I'm going through here. So if I seem like I'm getting, bobbled up or jumbling anything, I apologize, but it's really just pure adrenaline that I'm running on, and sharing this all with you. So a huge shout out, an absolute huge shout out. Cardboard Chronicles. As you know, we talked earlier. He is my neighbor. And when I got off after midnight last night, I thought to myself, he's coming tomorrow. I know we've talked about this, and he was coming to the show. So I messaged him. I said, it was like 12:30. I'm like, hey, I know it's late, but are you up? And he's like, of course I am. What's up? And I'm like, look, I forgot the charger for my laptop. If I can get somebody to throw it in my mailbox, can you pick it up? He's like, yeah, absolutely. So of course, now I have to call home and get people out of bed at 12:30, and very thankful that, I didn't get yelled at for doing that, but somebody there tossed it in the mailbox, and I got my charger. So we're definitely going to have enough power now to get these episodes going. The day today. Oh, I'm sorry. A few more shout outs. Card Amigos. These guys came by to see me today, listened to the podcast, just shouting them out. Brought a couple cool cards today that still thinking about. One was a Brady card that it was a box. It was a 2000 Brady rookie. It was one of those, one of 2,500. And they had bought this box, and it was the last pack. They were telling the story of the last pack they opened up, and they could see on the back that it was a numbered Brady card, and they were all freaking out. And when they got to the last card, they realized that there were two cards stuck together, and the card actually got damaged as they separated the cards to get it out. But they still graded it. It came back a PSA 3, and it was just kind of cool card. It's one you don't see every day, so that was kind of cool. And the other one was a 1994 Power Rangers card, and I can remember watching Power Rangers with my son. So that was kind of cool because I've never seen. I mean, I know there's a card for everything, but I've never seen the Power Ranger card. So that was kind of cool. And just to give you an idea, 3 more shout outs, but just to give you an idea of how big this place is and how crowded this place is. So yesterday, Sports Card Nobody came by with his friend who's also on Instagram, Suplexes and Slapshots. They came by and found me in the morning before the show started. And we talked for a little bit, and they're like, yeah, I'll be back. You know, I never saw them yesterday and never saw them today. Mookie Hobby Cards, my good friend Harvey, he came to see me, and he was like shaking his head. He's like, it literally didn't. He said he's been there all day. He got there at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. He didn't find me until almost 5 o'clock. He's like, I looked everywhere for you. I had no idea how to find you. This place is massive. And my buddy Craig over at New York City Sports Cards, who was there, I never saw him. I never saw Craig today. And I knew he was there today, and I wanted to like reach out and say, hey, where are you? This is where we are. But I was just so busy, and the day came, the day ended, and I was leaving. I'm like, Mike, I mean, I know there's people here, and I haven't even seen them. I came back to the hotel, and I knew another guy from Connecticut, and we were getting on the elevator together. I'm like, oh, did you just get here? And he's like, no, I've been here all week. He's like, I've been walking around. And I was like, it's unbelievable how big this show is. And just, you get lost. Like literally you could get lost in this place, especially with all these people. Set up today next to Ryan at Reservoir Sports Cards. I talked about him yesterday. He's just a great guy. It's fun hanging out with him and a couple of his friends that keep coming by. And it's nice because they have 3 guys that they just cycle out, so the other 2 guys can go shopping per se. You know, go out and hit the floor. That's the only thing I'm kind of missing. Although, you know, they're a lot like Nick from Slab Exchange. They got 1 case. They have about 8 cards in the case. All the cards are numbered, and they're pretty much high-end cards. So there's not a lot of, you know, negotiating on the card per se. And they all own a few of those cards in the case, and they just have an understanding what they're selling for. So they just get to, maneuver all around, you know, and they're able to go out on the floor and shop and go look and find things, and they have somebody to cover. That's the only thing that I think I'm kind of missing in this, that I'd like to kind of have a, you know, like maybe a half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour just to kind of break away from the table and just go do, you know, just kind of break it up a little bit. That's what I think becomes so exhausting. It's just the people at the table, the constant talk. And it's a lot of times you're saying the same thing over and over again. And being a teacher, I mean, that's something, you know, with lesson plans, you do a lesson plan, right? And you at the end of it, you really sit back and you think what worked and what didn't work. And then the next time you do it, you change it up, and then you change it up, and you change it up. So it comes to a point, if you do it enough times for enough years, you have it down. Like you have the perfect lesson plan for every lesson because you've done it over and over and over again. And that's like like selling these cards is kind of the same thing, because there's a story. Every card that I have is a story. Whether I pulled the card out of a pack, whether I won it in a break, whether I bought it from somebody else, whether I traded for something else. And I think people really enjoy that. So when I'm talking to people and they're looking at a card, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a nice card. I tell the story of that card. And I perfect the stories of certain cards that maybe don't sell that fast. And then sometimes when the card leaves, I'm like, oh man, I'm never going to be able to tell that story again, because that card is gone. And I don't know. These are the things I think of, and sometimes it's sad to see some cards go that that I didn't really plan on parting ways with. And sometimes they, like today, I talked about getting that Justin Herbert. This year, it's a 2021, the Prism Silver autograph. I made a trade at trade night over at JA Sports for that card. I really liked the card. I priced the card at $1,000, and a lot of people said, "Oh, well, the comps are around, $850 and this and that." And I said, "I know, but he's a great player. There's no reason why the value of the card should be going down. I mean, I know there may be more of those cards out there that are, as Prism gets opened up, but there's really no reason. And the price, I think, should stay in that, right in that, $900 to $1,000." And I thought to myself, probably gonna have a tough time moving this card, that I may, if I find something, I may be able to trade up into it. And my first sale of the day today, the guy came up. He was another dealer and he came and he looked and he looked. "Do you mind if I take it out of the case?" And he looked at it. He goes, "It's a really clean card. I plan on taking this right now, and I'm bringing it over to PSA and send it off to be grading." And I said, "Well, you need to buy it. You need to own it first before you can do it." And he reached in his pocket and he came out and he said $950 cash. And I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll take it." And I told the story of that trade probably 6 or 7 times, and now the card's gone. I'll never tell that story again with that card. So, that's where we're at on that card. What else is going on? The food at the show. You can't get any food. So when someone disappears at the show and says, "I'm going to get some food," you can expect they're not going to be back for an hour. The lines are so long. They so underplanned the food and the whole design of the food there. They just underplanned. So if you're coming and you're listening to this, definitely pack some food. Even if you leave it in a cooler in your car and you run out and eat, I would recommend then waiting in line, because you're probably never going to get food. And some of these poor people that weren't able to get food all day now have gone to a trade night, and that's going to go till 10 o'clock tonight. So feeling kind of bad for them right now, because I know what it's like to go all day without eating. That's why I'm always preparing ahead. I'm always bringing, you always see me in there with my little lunch bag, bringing food and snacks and, good hydration. The parking is a little crazy too here. The parking garage is really convenient. It's like you just pull into the convention center and you go right into the parking garage and you park, and it's a short walk and you're right there. You're right in the convention center. But then when the show ends at the end of the day, I mean, they've got 2 exits and like 2 people working. And, by the time it closes at 6, it was like 6:45 by the time we, closed up the whole table and got out there. And I walked out to the parking garage, just, massive traffic, just people trying to get out of there. So I think they kind of underplanned a little bit on that too. But getting in, if you can get in, because I know when Cardboard Chronicles, when he showed up, he said that he couldn't even get in the parking garage. It was full. He had to go find parking somewhere else. So, I guess it's good if you can get in there. It's $20 a day to park, and probably worth it. Like, you could go park somewhere else, but then you're going to have to walk. My internet is not that great here, so I'm just warning everybody now. I'm only uploading these to the just the podcast. The YouTube videos, I'm gonna wait till I get home and I'm going to upload those. I had a tough time last night, and I was worried why I was texting about getting my my charger, I was just waiting and waiting for it to go out. The internet is not that great. The internet is not great at the convention center, but it's not great. It doesn't seem to be great anywhere. I mean, I'd be talking to people even between the convention center and here, and I'd be losing calls. So I think the signal here is pretty poor. So if you're looking for the YouTube version of it, probably Sunday, I will upload all of the YouTube versions, although I'm really not showing you anything, but I know a lot of people like to watch it. My room here at Bally's is not really that great. I kind of complained about it all night until I woke up this morning and opened the curtains, and I realized I'm just looking at the beach. And as I tape this, I am literally in the window. I'm just looking out at the beach right now, just trying to use the daylight for the light as the sun is going down. So we won't have much more. If you see a shadow coming, you'll know why. So the show itself, a lot of people still selling today, and just got to a point where everybody's like, "Are you buying? Are you buying?" And they say, "Are you buying?" I say, "Are you selling?" I mean, I'm selling. Are you buying? It's just crazy. It just worked out crazy. But a lot of people, like I talked about last night, a lot of people are buying, are selling cards because there's cards they want, and they're trying to amass a certain amount of money. And they're all the cards you could possibly want are in this room. Any cards, all the cards are in this room. So they're locating their cards. When they come and they locate a card that I have that they really like, and we talk about it, and they're like, I'm not going to buy it now. What's the best you can do? And then they're on their phone and they're taking the notes. They're taking a picture of it, and they're asking what table number. And they're just plan on coming back at some point. Where I found later in the day today, probably mid to late afternoon, sales really came up. Like people, like I could see it starting to turn. I could see people I've talked to coming back and then renegotiating. People doing a less, I sold the bulk of my sales came probably between 2 and 6 o'clock today, and I could kind of see that turn coming, where they come up and they would negotiate a little, and then they'd say, "Okay, I'm going to do it." And then they've been around enough to know what the prices are, and I kind of did that this morning and yesterday morning. I got there early this morning, and I kind of ran around, and I'm football, right? The majority of my case is football. I have some tennis and some wrestling in there, but the majority is football. And going around, I'm seeing the same cards as I have, and I'm seeing what people have. And I see a lot of people have them high, and some people have them, just over comps. So I'm pricing mine accordingly. And I know when a guy comes and says, this particular card, like my Brady Bowman PSA 8, which I know the comps on that are between $1,200 and $1,300. And I've seen people out there at $1,800, and I've seen people out there at $1,300. And that's what I priced mine at, $1,300. So I'm on the end there. I'm not into it for very much. So I'm like, I could do $1,250 or $1,275, which I don't think many dealers are willing to go that low. So the cards I'm not into for a lot, that's the kind of pricing I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be at or just slightly underneath what the competition has the cards out there for. But now the case is turning over, because today I was buying cards, right, from people, and I put them in my case. I bought 6 cards today from other people that I ended up reselling out of my case. The cards that I could see, Ryan, who's right next to me, Reservoir Sports cards, he's a big Dolphins fan, so he had a bunch of Tua cards in his case, and over and over, everybody asking until he only has one left. He sold them all, and he just kept saying, "Tua's hot, Tua's hot." I'm like, okay. So when people are coming up and I'm going through their case and I'm finding these Tua cards, I'm like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm like, let's make a deal. And I'm buying these cards, I'm pricing them up, I'm dropping in my case, and within 20 minutes, they're being sold. Like, people are coming up and they're buying the Tua cards. Trey Lance, now that he got named the starter in San Francisco for the 49ers, the value of his card's gone up. So when I see those come through, I grabbed one of those today. I dropped it in my case, and literally the guy didn't even leave my table yet, and somebody else came up and bought the card. So it's certain people that are becoming hot quick like that, just a quick turnover. Definitely still quarterbacks. It's all quarterbacks. I mean, then that's what everybody's coming and looking for: quarterbacks. And what's interesting at this show too, there's some other people, like you see people will show up and they'll have a lanyard around their neck with a certain, like a LeBron James card or a Kobe Bryant card that came from a certain set. And they'll just come up and they'll hold the card out. They say, do you have anything that looks like this? And they don't even ask for the card. I'm like, what? They're like, anything that looks like this card? And I'm like, no, okay, thanks. And they just keep moving on. And they're trying to make it quick. I saw one guy, he showed up today and he had a sign on his, he had a shirt that had, it was, like a custom made shirt. Said that, I'm buying and selling LeBrons and Kobe's, ask me. So, I mean, people are just, getting creative and walking around there. And I think they're just hoping that other people, because deals are being made at the table, which, I mean, I know is a little rude, right? But like, I'd be at a table and somebody, I'm pulling out a box and I start asking somebody about a card. And then somebody is like, because I'd say to them, I'm like, where do you need to be at this card? And they'll say 400. And I'll say, well, I could give you like 275. And then the guy standing next to him and says, I'll give you 325 or 350. And they're like, okay. And they just walk away and they'll make the deal somewhere else. So these type of deals are happening too. There's deals happening all over. So that's kind of the, people are there to make deals, and whether they're making them with you or they're making them with other people walking around, and whether they're making them with somebody at your table, they're there to make deals, and the deals are getting done. Right. Tomorrow, I think my outlook for tomorrow is going to be even a little busier than today, but I think there's going to be even more sales tomorrow because I think people have had a couple days to start selling things. And I noticed at the end of the day when I was packing up, people were coming back to the table. They're looking at their phone. They're like, hey, so-and-so had a Josh Allen in our group. And, and I'm like, oh, they've already packed up and gone. Will they be here tomorrow? Okay, I'll be here first thing. Like, they know they finally got enough money to buy that card that they wanted to buy, and they came running back for it. But now he's packed up. So they're probably going to be there first thing in the morning trying to make that deal. And I think that's going to be the turn. I think the turn happened today. My thoughts. I think the turn happened today. And I think by tomorrow, I think there's going to be a lot of sales tomorrow. But stay tuned. We'll recap again tomorrow, and I'll let you know what's going on. But good news is we've got power here, so we'll definitely have a recap coming from tomorrow. I'll be dropping Saturday morning. So right now, I'm going to shut it down and go find some dinner. See if I could sit down and just have a little quiet dinner before I relax. Now, somebody was talking about maybe there might be trade night, not a trade night, but like a group trading at the hotel here. So I'm going to look around and see if that's happened. But I will update you guys all tomorrow. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you like what you hear, please like, subscribe, and most importantly, tell a friend and spread the word. Until next time, be good to yourselves and everyone around you.